Dr. Ratnam Raja?
Yes.
Yes, I'm Dr. Javis. So, can we go for the session directly? The chairperson, Dr. Venkatesan Jayachandran is also
here. Yes.
If you can show your video, it'll be great.
Yeah, right. I'm just coming.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
1 minute, sir. So we'll have a quick introduction.
Okay.
Yours. So, now for this session, good afternoon, participants, and good afternoon, chairperson, and good afternoon, Dr. Raja. And for this session, the chairperson is Dr. Venkatesan Jayachandran. Welcome you, sir. So the session is over to you right now. So you can introduce the speaker once you display the PPT.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's great pleasure to introduce Dr. Ratnam Raja. And he's working as an auxiliary investigator in Mediterranean Institute of Agriculture. And he has worked in several countries, I mean to say. And he has obtained his bachelor degree and master degree in botany in University of Madras in India. And he's carried out his PhD in Center for Advanced Sciences in Botany, University of Madras in Guindy campus in 2004. And he has several area he has worked in. Just wait one minute. And then he has worked in Taiwan, and then you worked in New Zealand as well as you worked in USA. He mostly closely working on microalgae and algae research, and he is currently editing several books on algae. So he's going to give his whole experience to us in the form of presentation. So I oddly welcome you, sir. So please carry out.
Okay.
1 minute, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. So now I think you can share your screen, sir.
Oh, okay.
The PPT first and then directly touch the PPT.
Yeah.
And full screen, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Dr.
Sir, it is not in full screen. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Professor Jayachandran Venkatesan, for introducing me. And also thanks to Dr. Karthi. Distinguished delegates, research scholars, and students. So in this presentation, I'm going to present the various applications of algae, both macroalgae as well as microalgae. So before starting this session, I would like to just give you an idea about algae. What is algae? What is macroalgae? What is microalgae? For the beginners, learners. So past 8 years, I am working in the University of Falgar. I am concentrating the algae on food aspects since I belong to food science laboratory. So first, I would like to explain what is algae. Algae are single cellular or multicellular. They are typically found in freshwater and as well as marine ecosystems. They are autotrophic. So what are the advantages compared with the higher plants, taxonomic plants? What are the advantages we have on algae? Much faster growth in a shorter period. It has multiple uses, including biofuel and fine chemicals. High efficiency of CO2 mitigation. So in various industries, they are using macro and as well microalgae to capture GHG gases. Then most cost-effective farming. It reduces harmful chemicals presence in the effluents before discharging into the environment. Several countries, even developed countries, European Union and America and Australia, they are using to cultivate algae on ocean beds. In future, algae is the only resource in the earth to feed not only the animals, but human also. Yeah, as you are aware, the earth consists of 71% of ocean and 29% of land. Hence, ocean is the ultimate source of space to cultivate algae for food, feed, cosmetics, organic fertilizers, nutritive products, health drinks, etc. So in the upcoming slides, I'm going to show what are all the applications one by one using macro and microalgae. So in this slide, I have showed there are some commercially important microalgae they are using in several aquaculture industries, biofuel industries, and biomass producing companies. Spirulina, Haematococcus, Scenedesmus, Botryococcus, Anabina, Chlorella, Dunaliella, and Chaetoceras. These are all various important microalgae being commercially cultivated for various applications. So beyond that, what are the useful that is proteins and carbohydrates and lipids they have? So this table shows the various microalgae, 3 different species of Scenedesmus, 2 different species of Spirulina, and 2 different species of Dunaliella, 2 different species of Chlorella, Spirochaera, Senecococcus, Anabina, Tetracelpins, and so on. So in the commercial industries, they are all using this microalgae. They used to screen all their characteristics, how it will be useful, in which product they are, what product they are getting from this microalgae. So it depends upon the product, the companies they used to cultivate these microalgal strains. So these photographs shows some of the important seaweeds: Gracilaria, Halimeda, Alva, Intestinalis alva, Lactuca, Codium, Sargassum, and so on. So these are all very few seaweeds which plays a vital role in the in different products. So what are the different applications of seaweeds and microalgae? So nowadays the companies they are getting naturally they are getting different products from algae. So it extends from cosmetics, biofuel, bioplastics, feedstock, animal feed. It includes poultry, in aquaculture, seafood industries, cattle feed, and different types of fertilizers, even biostimulants, nutrients for the agriculture purpose, and in the edible items, food items, and nutraceutical, pharmaceutical vitamins, including polyunsaturated fatty acid, that is omega-3 products. So in which algae they are getting all those products from the algae. So if you see one by one, the nutraceutical and the health-related supplements they are getting from, I have quoted here very few algal numbers. So the microalgae Nanochloropsis, spirulina, and Haematococcus, and macroalgae, that is seaweed, Alba lactica, Chondrus crispus. For biofertilizers, Anabina and Nostoc, these are microalgae, and Laminaria, Fucus, Codium, or seaweeds. For effluent treatment, they are using Chlorella, Dunaliella, Scenodesmus, and macroalgae, Alba laminaria, and Gracilaria. For CO2 mitigation, to capture the greenhouse gas, usually in all the companies, they are using microalgae spirulina. And rarely some companies, they use Pyropia and Halimeda. For biofuel, they are using Botrachus phaeodactylum, and Gracilaria, Alba, Palmyra. These three algal species are macroalgae, seaweeds. For edible items, they are preparing ice creams, juices, wafers, milk and protein shakes, etc. For that, they are using the macroalgae, algae, Hemanthalia and Caulerpa. For aquaculture purpose, Syzogatrium, Chaetoceras, Tetraselmis, and Spirogera are microalgae. Capophagus, Saccharina, and Andaria are macroalgae. So in the cattle and food industry, they are using spirulina and Asparagopsis taxiformis. So even in Tamil Nadu, 2 decades ago, they started to mix spirulina with poultry and cattle feeds, especially in the area of Namakkal district, Tamil Nadu. So still there, it is in practice. There is a considerable amount of the quality is improved. So apart from that, for the flue gas, I have given a small introduction about the flue gas. The flue gas exiting to the atmosphere through a pipe or furnace for conveying exhaust gases from a boiler. Generally, it refers to the combustion exhaust gas produced at power plants. For example, in Neyveli Lignite Corporation, they are using spirulina in a pilot scale. They used to capture the flue gas using spirulina cultivation. Yeah, a remarkable amount of flue gas has been captured. The flue gas consists of carbon particles, CO2, CO, water vapor, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen oxides. So even the macroalgae also they are using in some places, Sargassum, Enteromorpha. They are very easily available even in Chennai coast. In several companies, apart from Neyveli Lignite Corporation, spirulina used as a suitable candidate to capture flue gas. Their emissions were reduced in a drastical level. So that's why they are using the spirulina culture. Even the spirulina, it can tolerate the pH of pH until 12. So in that pH range, the other algae cannot survive. So the spirulina, it is easy to cultivate. Even if you introduce the increase the pH, it won't be suffered. So in this photograph, I have showed 2 different photographs. On the left side, it is the pure culture. Once the culture has been developed, this harvested culture has been used for to capture the flue gas or other effluent treatment. So there are a lot of industries, they are discharging effluents, for example, dairy, tannery effluent, dairy effluents, and salt company effluent. In salt company effluents, usually no algae will grow because it contains a lot of salt contents. Very few bacteria or microalgae can tolerate in high levels of salt content. So in the salt refinery effluent, what they do, they collect the raw salts and then they used to grind it and remove the dust and other impurities. Then they used to add some amount of iodine and some of the chemicals to allow them for free flow salt. You can see the Tata salt or Annapurna salt, they are all having this free flow facility, so that it won't stick even in the winter seasons. So in these salt companies, they used to discharge effluent which has a lot of different kind of salts, calcium, magnesium, like that. So to discharge environmental friendly effluent, they used to cultivate the algae Dunaliella, which is very familiar, and they are getting beta carotene and vitamins from this unicellular halo tolerant and high temperature tolerant microalgae Dunaliella. It can tolerate up to 6 molar concentration of salt content. So if you go to Kalambakam near Chennai, Tirupur, in those area, they are cultivating raw salts. So in those areas on summer, you can find in some areas red color or orange tinge color patches on the salt ponds. So if you collect it and if you subculture in the laboratory condition, it immediately turns into green color. So when on natural environment, it used to grow in green color, the Dunaliella algae, and later on, if you give some stress, lack of nitrogen sources and high temperature, then it turns into orange color. It is because of the production of beta carotene. Later on, I will show the algal morphology and their culture, Haematococcus, spirulina, etc. So this is the oxidation pond. So oxidation pond is nothing but a shallow, large pond designed to treat different kinds of effluents with the interaction of sunlight, bacteria, and algae. So if you continuously treat the effluents, it automatically remove excess amount of chemicals. So actually, we have checked the parameters in the raw salt effluents. So it consists in the middle column. You can see the control value of the effluents, and later on the algae Dunaliella. It has grown in the 100% effluent, and then you can see the percentage reduction on the right side corner, the last row. You can see the percentage reduction. So the first column shows the various parameters like sodium, ammonia, etc. So even you can find in the salt refinery effluent some of the heavy metals like manganese, iron, barium, aluminum, silver, and strontium. So the percentage reduction by Dunaliella I have showed on the right side. So in this case, the percentage reduction means we cannot reduce the level of heavy metals. But what the algae they do, even the plants, when you grow in the area where the heavy metals are there, it used to absorb and accumulate those heavy metals in their bodies. So all these heavy metals have been detected by inductively coupled atomic emission spectroscopy. So I would like to conclude the microalgae. Various microalgae, we can grow in, as I said before, we can grow in various effluents, sewage and municipal wastewaters, industrial effluents, tannery and dairy and salt water effluents. Since the Dunaliella is a halotolent algae and it doesn't have a cell wall, it has only the plasma membrane. So it can modify according to the environmental condition. It can modify in any shape, egg shape, or round shape, or pear shaped by alternative their internal cellular content. So it was able to reduce high level of chemicals and heavy metals. So this character clearly indicates the alga possesses certain inherent abilities, includes the incredible metabolic and physiological versatility that allows to inhabit the hostile environment and to exploit the energy sources which are not suitable for other organisms, even higher plants. So the ecological adaptation and flexibility is also another added advantage, which makes this algae Dunaliella a promising candidate to refine the salt refinery effluent. So in this slide, you can see various fertilizers, natural fertilizers from seaweeds. It is used to spray on the higher plants, the crops, as a biostimulants. In practically the several companies, they are producing this kind of fertilizers. They are getting it from Anabina and Nasdaq. Both are cyanobacteria, microalgae, and seaweeds like Laminaria, Fucus, and Cordial. The main thing is these fertilizers are environmental friendly. They are extracted 100% from seaweeds. So next one, cosmetics and skin care. So especially these products, they are getting from Dunaliella and Haematococcus. Seaweeds like Laminaria, Ficus, Chondrus, and Tetrasemys, Dunaliella, Haematococcus has great cosmetic values since they have a lot of bioactive compounds like astaxanthin, beta-carotene, glycerol, phycocyanin from phycoerythrin from spirulina. So they are all having antioxidant and immunomodulatory effects. So as I said, the astaxanthin carotenoids, they are some of them, and polysaccharides, peptides, fatty acids, phytohormones that results in skin benefits such as anti-aging, photoprotective, and moisturizing properties. So the skincare products, it shows it has antioxidant, free radical collector, anti-aging, stress protection, immune system booster, masking odors, that is removing odors, and a lot of pigments it has, and sunscreen protection, that is a different kind of lotions, and lipstick from algae in European Union. In several algae companies they are producing, and the hyaluronic acid with a vitamin B3 product from sea kelp, brown algae, seaweeds, and chlorella cream. You can see here. There are a lot of products they are getting from seaweeds. And apart from that, another one property is bioluminescent. Bioluminescent is the production and the emission of luciferin and luciferase. Luciferin, a light-producing substance. In some cases, it is a photoprotein. So luciferase is an enzyme that catalyzes the reaction. In this light making process, it requires a charged ion to activate the reaction. So it is a form of chemiluminescence. So bioluminescent algae is actually a dinoflagellate called Noctiluca. So nature has provided a beautiful gift recently in Southern California. I hope you heard this in the form of bioluminescent waves. So I have showed the picture on the left side corner. And second one, it happened on October in Tamil Nadu. The seed turns suddenly in dark green color due to the presence of Nataluca algae. So scientists said that the phenomenon was visible in the 10-kilometer stretch from Pamban to Rameshwaram coastal area in the Parkway states. So what is the ultimate use? In the research laboratories, the luciferase-based technology are used in the genetic engineering and biomedical researches. So next one is bioplastics. The bioplastics, they are mostly getting it from Alaria esculenta, a seaweed. They are plastic materials. Bioplastics are made up of vegetable fats, oils, cornstarch, straw, wood chips, sawdust, and recycled food wastage. In addition to these raw materials, they are using seaweeds in certain percentage. So it can be also made from agricultural byproducts and used plastic bottles and other containers to give you a strongness to use for a long time. It has some microorganisms also. So you can see in the photograph, the food packages, bioplastic cups, bioplastic bottles, food containers, and bioplastic dishes, coffee and tea sachets from seaweeds. So the next superfood. What is the next superfood? So the seaweeds. Many consumers across the European Union would like to have a wider variety of healthier snacks in Italy, Poland, and Spain, and also from other European unions. Of all the seaweed products developed, over a third were in the snack food category, with others being sauces and seasonings. They have given 12%, 9%, and 8% the bakery items and different kinds of soups and seasonings, etc. So it remains an important to note the health and nutrition is important to consumers. So research shows that taste remains a top priority. Therefore, any seaweed-based products must deliver on taste as well as the many other seaweed benefits. So there are the researchers and several food sector industries. They are concentrating, especially in the European Union market. The industries are concentrating on various seaweeds, and they used to harvest in the coastal area on using different methods of seaweed cultivation. So later on, I will show you what are the methods they are following to cultivate the macroalgae, that is seaweeds. So what are the health drinks in the health sector? There are a lot of products already in the market. So you can see on the left side corner, the chlorella for as a digestive health tonic, and spirulina juices, protein shakes, and healthier to increase the immune system, and the spirulina juice, which has cell regeneration, liver health, brain and heart health, increase energy, and anti-aging, slow aging, and a lot of juices for the kids. And even in European Union, they have, sorry. Yeah, in European, there are a kind of a Heineken beer. This particular beer, they are adding some percentage of algae also. So next, the seaweed tea. Usually, the people here, they have green tea and coffee without milk. So what are the benefits of having seaweed tea? There are a lot of benefits here I have highlighted. So several seaweeds, they have sources of vitamins and minerals. It treats diseases of upper respiratory tract, treats injuries, supports skin health. It is good for stomach ailments, supports digestive system, has antioxidants, helps in heart health, sources of iodine. It helps to lose weight. So the roasted seaweeds, otherwise called wafers. So the roasted seaweeds are the best dietary source of iodine, which helps to support the thyroid glands. It also has other vitamins and minerals like vitamin K, B vitamins, zinc, and iron, along with antioxidant that helps to protect the cells from damage. In addition, seaweeds can moisturize and calm the skin. It is also good at combating acne. So I have shown there are a variety of companies, they are producing in different flavors and different taste the seaweeds. So here I have shown only one brand of seaweed wafer. So the next one is food from seaweeds. I have shown the fresh vegetable, sea vegetable, and some of the cookies and wafers and algae extract that is powder I have given. On the left side corner, it's a smoothie with kombu kelp, kombu laminaria seaweed. So what are the fine chemicals right now we are getting from macroalgae as well as microalgae? Some of the very few important products, chemicals I have highlighted here. They are beta-carotene, astaxanthin, phycosanthine, phycoerythrin, glycerol, vitamins, polyunsaturated fatty acids, pigments, and sulfated polysaccharides like carrageenan, agar, alginate, and fucoidan. So, and other products, the microalgae has spirulina capsules and beta-carotene capsules. They are already in market. Even in Tamil Nadu, we can able to get spirulina capsules and Dunalia capsules, that is beta-carotene capsules. They are purely from algae, 100%, and algal wafers I have shown here. And Aphanocymanon, a microalgae, it is also in the pipeline, and omega-3 oil, and you can see the energy bar made up of spirulina, and spirulina ice cream and spirulina smoothie. They are all already in the market. And smoothie, I have smoothie and ice creams also, as shown here. So next, noodles with chlorella, seaweed and chlorella cookies I have shown here. So the chlorella cookies here, and the cookies from seaweeds on the on both sides are shown here. And this is the cultivation method using polythene bags. They are cultivating chlorella, and they are adding a certain percentage of chlorella in the noodles. So the This culture shows the Dunaliella salina for the production of beta carotene. So when you cultivate grow the algae in laboratory, initially it used to grow in green color. So later on, after giving stress, it used to turn orange red color. During unfavorable conditions, it used to produce beta carotene to protect the algae. So this is the cultures I have grown in tubs. So the first one is Dunaliella. So this is the Dunaliella capsule available in the pharmacy, beta-carotene capsules. And these two pictures showed the Haematococcus, which produces astaxanthin. So when it turns, when we give stress, it used to produce astaxanthin. So then the phycocyanin, it is from spirulina, phycocyanin, phycoerythrin, extracted from spirulina, used
Hello. Hello, Raja sir, can you turn on your mic? I think you put it mute. You just unmute it. Yes, good, fine.
Is it okay?
No, fine, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. So I will start from this slide now. So the national aquaculture industry in Saudi Arabia, it is one among the largest aquaculture company in the world. So they are producing a large amount of microalgae, Nanochloropsis, Dunaliella, Haematococcus, Tetrasilmis, Schinidesmus, Chlorella, Spirulina, to feed to the joyal stages of the fish larvae, different types of fish larvae, and crustaceans like shrimp, and some kind of crabs they are feeding. Because microalgae, they are the primary producers in the aquatic ecosystem. Natural food for early stages of fish, it is very important to supply to give the microalgae, since it has a lot of nutrients. So especially for the shrimps, they used to feed Dunaliella, Haematococcus. By feeding these microalgae, the shrimp color from white to pink color, it used to turn. So this color of shrimps considered a very good quality, first quality of shrimps. So it has given a good amount of revenue to the industries. So in the aquaculture industries, the algae, they are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, so it is easy to disperse, and it has a long shelf life, pathogen-free, and natural food and process. And Australia's aquaculture experiments with seaweed farming as a rotational crop, they are cultivating some types of seaweeds in Van Phong Bay, very close to the Vietnam. This Australis aquaculture industry headquartered in Massachusetts, which is solely focused on offshore algae. So what are all the, there are 4 or 5 types of seaweed cultivation methods. The first one is open water rope method to cultivate the seaweeds. So I have showed in the previous slides, the left bottom one is showed this kind of cultivation. The short bottom cultivation, it has showed in the previous slide, and the water rope method here, I have shown here. It is otherwise called a raft with seedling method. And pond culture and tank cultures artificially in the inland structure nearby the coastal area, they used to bring the seedlings, and they used to cultivate seaweeds in the pond setup. And, on dead corals, they used to keep small, very small kind of tiny seaweeds to cultivate various useful seaweeds. So these are all the few methods currently being employed to cultivate seaweeds naturally. So in the aquaculture industries, they are cultivating oysters and bivalves and fishes in the joyal stage fishes. And this one is called Artemia. It plays an important role to cultivate, to give a feed to shrimps and crabs in the aquaculture industries. So this is the natural pond where they used to cultivate freshwater fishes and crabs. So you can see this picture shows different types of microalgae, Haematococcus, Chlorella, Aphanizomenon, and Favdactylum, to feed to these aquaculture tanks where it has the fishes, many types of fishes. And for rotifers and shrimps, they used to feed spirulina because it has 3 properties: high nutrition, it has low calorie, and 0 cholesterol. So that's why the World Health Organization, they have declared and announced to the African countries, especially the Namibia, Kenya, Nigeria, Eritrea, Ethiopia, in those very poor countries, because of the malnutrition, the kids, the children, they doesn't have much energy, immunity. So this one is very low cost microalgae, very easy to cultivate spirulina. It can tolerate high pH and even high temperature also. So among with these characteristics, they used to supply to the rotifers and shrimps, and they are also using nanochloropsis to feed shrimps and rotifers. So apart from this aquaculture industry, in cattle, they are using Asparagopsis taxiformis fed to lactating dairy cows. It decreased methane emission by 80%. So as you are aware, the greenhouse gas, methane is the first one who occupied a major part of the greenhouse gas emission. So once you feed the seaweeds to the cattle, it used to decrease the methane level and had no effect on feed intake or milk yield, said Professor Alexander Ristow from Penn State University. It clearly indicates seaweed looks promising. So these informations has been published on last year, 6th month of 2019 in Science Daily News. So in addition to these seaweeds, they are using some other types of seaweeds, and they are mixing it in oil cakes also, being used to feed to the cattle. So in the University of Queensland, Australia, they are practicing this method to grow algae to supply the feed supplements. This is a pilot algae farm at the University of Queensland, shows how microalgae derived cattle feed can be produced at a low cost. So the Wageningen University from the Netherlands, they are also suggesting to use chlorella, tetrasilmis, spirulina, nanochloropsis, Nitschia, Navicula, Chaetosaurus, Senescens, Hematococcus, and Cryptococcus. And macroalgae such as Laminaria, Gracilaria, Alba, Medina, and Pavonica. So there are a lot of algae in practice, especially the European Union countries, Portugal, Spain, Italy, and France, Norway, Sweden, Denmark. They are all involving and encouraging the people, the NGOs, to produce the seaweeds, which are available abundantly in their coastal regions, for not only for the aquaculture industry, also for the cattle feed. So in the upcoming slides also, you can see there are a lot of seaweeds. It shows a tremendous use in these countries. So in the poultry and aquatic feeds also, they are using Spiromac, a brand name of a probiotic product taken from spirulina. And seaweeds, they are feeding after cleaning, drying, and grinding. They used to mix it with poultry feeds for the chicks and ducks. So, so apart from that, they are also using in biofuel industry between 85 to 95% of seaweed contains water. Means seaweeds is very suitable for biofuel. We can make anaerobic digestion for biogas and fermentation to make ethanol from Enteromorpha prolifera, Alba lactica, Laminaria digitata, and Saccharina. japonica. So the ethanol, I remember 2010 at the Department of Biotechnology, IIT Madras, they produced from bacteria also. So in the same concept, they used to get seaweeds from ethanol from seaweeds. So many seaweed species like Laminaria saccharina have high carbohydrate and low lignin content that is very perfect for making bioethanol. So regarding the microalgae, there are 4 methods to use in the field of biofuel. The first one I have shown on the left-hand side corner, the cultivation process, microalgae cultivation. There are a lot of cultivation methods involving closed, that is photobioreactor, and open ratio pond system, and the harvesting process, how they are harvesting, flocculation, and froth flotation, centrifugation methods, etc. And the oil extraction process, they are using oil extraction method and mechanical expulsion, etc. So then conversion methods, they are using biochemical conversion, anaerobic digestion, fermentation, like that. So currently they are using for a very long time the method called transesterification method. Even the industries, they are doing the following the same method, transesterification method. Then these products have been transported for further improvement of the oil quality. So what are the important bottlenecks in the field of seaweed commercialization? So the seaweed juice contains iodine, magnesium, calcium, sodium, zinc, phosphorus, and iron, but it has low concentration of toxic elements, for example, lead and chromium. The seaweed refined juice for a health drink application is yet to be licensed for commercialization. So for the satisfaction of the end consumers, how to overcome the fishy odor and rich in potassium is a very big challenge. So when you take the Indian scenario, India has more than 7,200 kilometers, a long stretch of coastal area. Indians or even the government, they are not taking steps to use the natural resources, especially from seaweeds. There are a lot of seaweeds growing, especially in the area of near Gujarat and in Tamil Nadu coastal areas, Rameshwaram and Kurusada Island, near close to Kanyakumari, that stretch. Even I remember 15 years ago, the Pepsi company, they have grown Capophagus algae. It is a very big, it is a very important raw material to make the Pepsi products, Pepsi drinks. They used to grow it, and they used to send the material to the America. Then they used to inform the formulation, and then they make the products in India. So the NGOs and the other the government and people has to take steps to use the vast area of the seaweed stretch to get a lot of natural products from seaweeds. So I would like to thank Dr. Karthi and the chairperson, Professor Tyagarajan Venkatesan, for giving me a good chance to deliver my lecture. And also my sincere thanks go to the Department of SBST, VIT. So if the audience, the delegates, if they have any questions, I am happy to answer. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for your great presentation, and you have presented almost 20 years of your experience on algae technology. And also you have covered in wide range of publication like food, skin, and biofertilizer, health drinks, and CVT, even aquaculture and feed. And finally, the biofuel one, this is the most emerging one. And it is very pity to know that our Indian government, and of course, they are not taking up this kind of CV technology for commercializing product, even though we have largest coastal area. But they will come up very soon. And we have plenty of questions in the chat box. And maybe if
Oh,
the first of all, the audience can raise if they have any questions first, and then I will go through one by one. We will try to answer it.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, then I will start with the questions.
Yeah.
The first one is whether the microalgae constituents will produce various pharmacological activity like medicinal plant.
Yeah, yes, of course. I have shown the slides. If you take the Spirulina, Haematococcus, and Dunaliella, it plays a major role in occupying the pharma and health-related capsules, tablets. Even in India, it is available. The Spirulina capsules, Spirulina vermicelli, Spirulina powder. For elderly people, the doctors, they are advising in a natural way. They are suggesting the spirulina capsules and beta-carotene capsules. They are available in pharmacy, in the medicals, even in India.
Okay, thank you. There is another question from Tiago. Yes, how can provide a stress condition for open cultivation of algae in large scale level to synthesis value added product? How can we give the stress? He's asking.
Yeah, the stress actually in the open reservoir pond, it is not possible to give the required stress conditions because the open reservoir pond, I think people are aware, the phycologists, it is like a pond. It is like a ocean. It is completely open, so it used to get the dust particles and a lot of contaminations. Even the mosquito larvae and other insects also. So for to grow cost-effective algal culture, it is advised to suggest in a large scale open reservoir pond condition. But to give stress in a large scale, it is not possible. So I have experience. In a couple of years in the algal industry. I took care of the open reservoir pond. It is really very big, and we never give any stress conditions, and it is also not possible. When you give such a stress condition, you have to prefer only the photobioreactor system where it is completely closed. It is easy to handle. Even in the very big photobioreactors, it is possible to give stress conditions. It is completely monitored by the computer, or else even we can operate manually. So giving stress is not possible in the reservoir ponds.
Okay, there is another question from Dr. Danya PR. How is the algae disposed after accumulating metal from the effluents?
Yeah, usually there are some norms how to discharge the products or effluents in an environmental friendly manner. It depends upon the country. The norms, it differs. For India, it is completely different, and the European Union, it is different. But in these cases, once they harvested the contaminated algae means it has grown in the contaminated area, also in the heavy metal area. Once it has harvested in a bulk level, they used to supply it only for the biofuel purpose. So where they used to use the biomass only for biofuel. So when they use it for biofuel, it doesn't require any discharge of algae. So they used to use they get to use all the materials.
Okay, thank you. And there is another question from Nirmal Paulus. What is the best method to determine carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur content of algae biomass? Is there any instrumental or chemical procedure?
A chemical procedure actually in Chennai, the TWAD, Tamil Nadu Water Board, they are doing for the water samples and even for the algae samples, plant samples. They are analyzing all the macro and micro elements. In Chennai, near the University of Madras, in Chepak, they are. It is a government department. They used to collect a very nominal fee, 500 or 600, I think. But the educational institutes has to provide the letter from their institutions. So where they have they are following APHA method, AFA method, to doing all these tests.
Yeah, actually, there is one more question from Tiago. Yes, actually, this is I want to suppose to ask you: is the green microalgae or highly potential for industrial application rather than the brown algae? And why is there a specific mechanism behind the use of green microalgae mostly?
A green microalgae, actually, it has a very big group, large group. It used to grow throughout the world in all areas. So naturally, it has certain restrictions, green algae, brown algae, and red algae. So depending upon their algae, the nature of algae, the green algae has if we speak one way, it has some type of products, the restricted products. It used to offer only on that aspect. But when you take the brown algae, they have polysaccharides. It has also very good properties. So on the basis of requirement and the availability, the industries and the researchers, they used to get various products, fine chemicals, the products from algae.
Okay, actually, there is one question. Actually, he wants to clear his doubt. Fishes are rich with the omega-3 fatty acid. Whether the fishes are synthesize omega-3 or themselves, or it utilize the microalgae from the food web.
Now, actually, in my university, there is one department called CCMAR, where they are concentrating only research on seaweeds and fishes. So they used to inform, compare with other fishes, the salmon fishes, which are considered very expensive one. It has naturally a property of synthesizing omega-3. Compared with other fishes, it has a very good amount of omega-3 fatty acid it used to produce. But the other algae on the same aspect, if you keep salmon fish as a control, another set of salmon fish, if you supply with feed with microalgae, the quality, that is the quantity of the fatty acid, it is increased when the fishes fed with microalgae. It is almost twofold. So the microalgae also induce the physiological system of the fish to increase the amount of PFA.
Yes.
So it is obviously it is noted that the microalgae, it induces fishes to produce more amount of PFA, omega-3.
Actually, you rightly said that. Maybe you can go ahead with this kind of research. So there is another question, Ms. Vidhi. When treated on a large scale, or the preventive measure taken to prevent the seaweed or microalgae from losing its property?
Usually, it is not because we are taking macroalgae or microalgae. Whatever the property we need, we are trying to get that. But if that particular algae, macro or microalgae, if it has the capacity to produce that particular chemicals, it will do the same. But if it is not, we never get that required product. I think the candidate will clear.
Yeah,
They will.
right. So there is another question. Does biofuel production by microalgae require an extra source of carbon dioxide?
Actually, honestly, biofuel from microalgae in European Union almost done 10 years ago. So it is not a successful project. For the biofuel, we cannot concentrate only on biofuel getting from any microalgae. So apart from biofuel, we have to see other products also. Then only it will be feasible. So that's why in European Union countries, they dropped this project a long back. And they are using pellets and seaweeds. And apart from the transessified oil, they used to mix a certain percentage of ethanol to use the cars, to use it in the cars in an environmental friendly way.
Yes, sir. Actually, there is one very important question at the current moment. How far this algae product, especially spirulina, will boost our immunity towards the COVID-19?
COVID-19, yeah, it is a recent one, but there are some some basic results. There is preliminary results, and it has published in newspapers also. But still, there are no promising results from macroalgae or microalgae. So the research is going on still.
Okay. Okay. Actually, another question from Danisha C. Nair. Without using formaldehyde, is there any other method to preserve algae for further molecular studies?
No, this is the only suggested way the phycologists they are using for a very long time. Not only to preserve the algae, or also for animals they are using.
Okay. Is any cytotoxic studies done for spirulina extracts?
Yeah, there are a lot of studies. You can see if you surf in Google, you can get a lot of publications. Even especially in Chennai, the Muttukadu backwaters, if you go and take a cup of water in the Muttukadu backwaters, you can see there are a lot of green tinges. So I think the people might aware. Spirulina is the only biggest form of microalgae. So you can even see in a naked eye.
Okay.
So the Muttukadu waters is highly polluted area. So it also considered a spirulina as a pollution indicator.
And there is one question: can all people can consume spirulina and without the prescription also?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, fine. Actually, this is really excellent presentation. I think many participants are just explaining. Even though the spirulina has so much of market value, why there is no algal bought spirulina farmers in India? Actually, this is the one you explained in the last stage of your presentation. This is mainly because of the unawareness, I can say. Maybe sir, maybe explain more in detail why it's not well developed in India.
Sir, can you repeat the question once again?
Even though the spirulina has so much of market value, why there is no algae or spirulina farmers in India?
There are a lot of people, even illiterate people, they are cultivating spirulina. So if you go the stretch of Chennai to Pondicherry area, near Mailam, and from Pondicherry to Sirgari, a town near Chidambaram, in those areas, they are cultivating, the poor farmers, they are cultivating spirulina. As far as my knowledge is concerned, the spirulina is the only microalgae. It is very easy to cultivate. No need any prior knowledge because this algae is very easy to cultivate, very easy to overcome the pH and the other contaminants. So that's what I have pointed out in Muttupallu Boat backwaters. You can see it is completely in green tinge, that waters. It is because of spirulina. So because of the poor people, they are cultivating spirulina. The market value, I think 2 years ago, per kg of spirulina, just 600 rupees. But rather than cultivating the spirulina, if you get the pure compounds means maybe 92, 95 or 98 percentage of phycocyanin or phycoerythrin, it is really a very good revenue. It will generate a very good revenue. But the illiterate people, they don't know, even the people, they are not producing the phycocyanin and phycoerythrin in a bulk amount. For research purpose, the students, the research scholars, they are doing phycocyanin, phycoerythrin. But just producing the spirulina biomass, it doesn't generate much money.
So there is one last question. Does algal aggregation indicate fungal contamination? Could you say how DUV fluorescence discrimination of cyanobacteria algae works?
Sir, once again, sir.
Does algal aggregation indicate fungal contamination? If the algal aggregate is asking whether it's a fungal contamination.
Yeah, it used to, yes, there are fungal contaminations also, but it is very, very less amount of, not very less, very few fungus used to contaminate the microalgae cultures. I remember when I was in US 2010, chytridium. Chytridium, a type of fungus. When we cultivated in the aquatic industry in US, in the even the indoor culture, the chytridium fungus, it used to grow in the microalgal culture of Schenodesmus. It used to penetrate the cells and it eats all the cell contents of the Schenodesmus. So finally, the Schenodesmus actually in green color. It's a single cellular. It has spikes, and it used to grow with 3, 2, 4, 6 like that in a coupled way. The Schenodesmus culture. So this fungus, it used to penetrate and eat all the cell contents. So thus, we can observe later in few days only the skeletons of the algae. They are transparent skeletons. It is because of the chytridium fungus. So,
Okay.
So far in the 2 decades, I have observed that only one fungus, chytridium, it used to contaminate the Scindasmus culture.
Okay, sir. Actually, the final question is, could you say how DUV, fluorescence discrimination of cyanobacteria algae, works?
I have pointed out only one point in my slide. Actually, in some of the presentation, I have worked in very few area, so I don't have much knowledge on in this area.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Actually,
Thank
your
you, Doctor.
presented very well, and more than 150 participants have gained the knowledge on algae biotechnology. So I request Professor Jeb, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So the presentation is now completed. So thank you so much being a chair
Okay,
and
sir.
for the presenter. So you can conclude it, sir.
Okay. Anyways, thank you very much, sir. Ratnam Raja, sir. It was a great presentation. It went on really well. Thank you for giving your insight on the algal technology. And I'm sure that it will be definitely helpful for the participants. And I also thank Dr. Venkatesan also for sparing his time and joining here for this session as a chairperson. So with this, we conclude this particular session.